Imagine this, it's a normal morning. The sun peeks through your curtains and you slowly open your eyes. It should be a simple moment, just sitting up and stepping out of bed. But today, something's different. Your legs, once your reliable mode of transport through life, feel weak, shaky even. Just standing feels like a workout, and suddenly, instead of thinking about what's for breakfast, going for your usual walk in the park, or tending to your little garden, one cold, unsettling question takes over. Am I losing control of my life? That fear right there, it's one of the deepest worries many of us have as we grow older. Not just the fear of wrinkles or gray hairs, but something much more real. Losing the ability to care for yourself. Losing the freedom to live life on your own terms. Losing your dignity because you now have to depend on others for the smallest things. This isn't something that comes crashing in overnight. It sneaks in, quietly, silently. Like erosion wearing down a cliffside, it chips away at you bit by bit. No big warning signs. No obvious symptoms. And by the time you truly notice, it's often too late. You're stuck, trapped in your own home, your muscles weakened, your independence slipping through your fingers. But what if I told you there's a way to fight back? What if I told you there's one simple thing, cheap, easy to find, packed with more protein than an egg, that can reverse age-related muscle loss faster than most supplements or gym sessions? And no, it's not chicken, eggs, or whey protein. Now here's the twist. Most people ignore this secret. Not because it's hard to find, but because they don't know how powerful it truly is. And that one choice, whether to ignore it or embrace it, can be the deciding factor between aging with strength or surrendering to silent decline. So in this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on this hidden threat, and more importantly, I'm going to show you the most effective weapon you can use to fight it. But before we dive in, let's connect for a moment. This is more than just information. This is a community of people taking their health into their own hands. So, tell me in the comments, have you ever worried about the strength of your legs? Just type yes or no, that's it. Let's see how many of us are walking this path together. Also, hit that like button if you're here to take back your strength. Subscribe if you want more real, practical tools every week. And hey, if what I'm saying speaks to you, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, just type 0. I want to hear from you either way. Now back to this hidden weapon. I'm not just going to name it. I'm going to walk you through a daily plan to rebuild your strength, even while you're sleeping. So stay with me to the end. Let's start by looking at what's really going on inside your body. Most people think muscle loss is a result of aging alone. But that's not the full picture. In fact, you can still be losing muscle even if you're eating a high-protein diet. Yep, you heard that right. That's why so many people, despite chugging protein shakes or loading up on chicken, still have flabby arms, weak legs, and slow recovery. The building blocks are there, sure. But the workers who are supposed to use those blocks, they're either missing or sleeping on the job. Let's use a construction analogy. Say you're trying to rebuild your house. You've got all the bricks, that's your protein. But if the workers, your enzymes and hormones, are on strike, your house isn't getting rebuilt, no matter how many bricks you have. That's what's happening inside your body. And there are 3 major saboteurs behind this internal construction. Strike. Saboteur number 1. Sluggish digestion. As early as your 40s, your stomach acid starts to decline. Without enough stomach acid, you can't properly break down protein into amino acids, the building blocks your body needs. This isn't always something you feel. You might be eating enough food, but your body simply can't extract what it needs. Undigested protein sits in your gut, causing inflammation and discomfort, and ultimately, poor nutrient absorption. On top of that, your pancreas may produce fewer digestive enzymes as you age. That makes it even harder to process proteins and fats. Ever feel unusually tired or bloated after eating meat? That's not the meat. It's your digestion waving the white flag. Saboteur number 2. Hormonal imbalance, the biggest culprit here? Cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. As we age, especially if we're not sleeping well or are under chronic stress, cortisol levels rise. And here's the problem. Cortisol is catabolic, which means it breaks down muscle tissue, particularly in your legs and glutes, the large muscles crucial for mobility and balance. To make things worse, aging cells often become less sensitive to insulin, the hormone that helps shuttle amino acids into muscle tissue. That leads to 2 problems. Amino acids don't reach your muscles efficiently. Your body stores more fat and sheds lean muscle. This combo results in what's known as the skinny fat body type, a body that looks thin but lacks muscle definition and strength. Saboteur number 3. A tired, overloaded liver. Your liver is like your internal control tower. It processes nutrients, regulates blood sugar, and helps convert amino acids into usable energy. But when it's bogged down by toxins, processed food, or too much sugar, its performance drops, and that affects every system in your body, including muscle building. This brings us to a big truth. Muscle loss isn't just about aging. It's about losing metabolic flexibility. So now that you understand these 3 saboteurs, you're ready to discover the tool that tackles them head on. Let's talk about the solution. What kind of food can defeat all 3 saboteurs? Easy to digest, hormone-friendly, and supportive of liver function? Here's a hint. It's not eggs, not meat, not whey protein. It's bone broth protein powder, specifically made from hydrated, grass-fed beef bones. I like to call it the mortar of life. You've probably heard of bone broth being good for your gut, but its benefits go far beyond that. Most people don't realize that the type of protein in bone broth is rich in the amino acids your body actually needs to rebuild muscles, tendons, ligaments, and connective tissues. Let's do a quick comparison. 1 large egg has around 6 grams of protein. Bone broth protein powder? 15 to 20 grams per scoop. But even more important than the amount is what that protein contains. Bone broth is packed with glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline amino acids that act like the glue that holds your muscle structure together. Think of your muscles like a brick wall. Eggs and meat are the bricks. Bone broth gives you the mortar that keeps everything strong and connected. Without that mortar, no amount of bricks will hold up. Even people over 50 who get enough protein often still feel weak. Why? Because they're missing the connective matrix, the stuff that gives muscles both strength and structure. So now that we understand why bone broth protein powder is so effective, let's go deeper. The reason I call it the mortar of life is because it checks every box your aging body needs. Let's start with digestion. Bone broth protein is hydrolyzed, which means it's already broken down into small peptides. This makes it incredibly easy to absorb, even if your digestion isn't as strong as it used to be. So even if saboteur number 1, low stomach acid or weak enzymes, is working against you, bone broth sails right through, delivering usable nutrients with minimal effort. That's 1 saboteur defeated. Now onto hormonal balance. Unlike some protein powders that spike your insulin, bone broth keeps things calm. It doesn't trigger an insulin surge, which means it won't mess with your body's fat-burning or hormone-regulating systems. So if your cortisol is high and your insulin sensitivity is dropping, bone broth won't add fuel to that fire. That's saboteur number 2 handled. Finally, let's talk about your liver. Bone broth is naturally rich in glycine, which has been shown to reduce systemic inflammation and support detoxification processes in the liver. That means your overworked metabolic powerhouse finally gets a breather, and that gives your entire body the green light to rebuild. And there it is. Saboteur number 3 neutralized. Still skeptical? Let me tell you what the science says. A 2015 study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that older men who took collagen peptides, like those found in bone broth, along with light resistance. Training gains significantly more muscle mass and strength compared to a control group that took a placebo. I've seen this in my own practice. 2. Take John, one of my patients. He was 72 and nearly gave up on walking because of constant knee pain. Instead of prescribing pills, I gave him something simple: a warm cup of bone broth every night before bed. 3 months later, he returned to my office, not for more treatment, but to proudly tell me he'd been out fishing again. That's the power of giving your body the right kind of building materials. You're not just putting bricks back in place, you're repairing the entire wall. Now, let's talk about another key ingredient in this process: leucine. Leucine is one of the 9 essential amino acids, which means your body can't make it on its own. You have to get it from food. But leucine isn't just another protein building block. Think of it as the spark plug in your muscle engine. It flips the switch that tells your body, hey, it's time to build muscle. It activates a powerful pathway called mTOR, short for mammalian target of rapamycin. Don't worry about the name, just know that mTOR is your body's internal construction manager. When leucine levels rise enough to flip the mTOR switch, your body moves into an anabolic state, meaning it builds new tissue instead of breaking it down. Sounds great, right? There's a catch. As we age, our muscles become less responsive to leucine. This phenomenon is known as anabolic resistance, and it's a major reason behind age-related muscle loss, also known as sarcopenia. So while a younger person might only need a little leucine to kick off muscle growth, older adults need more to get the same response. That means if you're over 50 and you're eating 10 or 15 grams of random protein per meal, you might not even be reaching the leucine threshold required to trigger muscle building. Studies show that the minimum leucine needed for older adults to switch on mTOR is 2.5 to 3 grams per meal. Let's break that down. 1 egg, only 0.5 grams of leucine. So to hit that 2.5 gram target, you'd need to eat 5 to 6 eggs in one sitting. Not exactly easy or appealing for most people. Now, here's where things get strategic. Bone broth is fantastic. It's the mortar, remember? But it's not the richest source of leucine. That's okay, because what it does do is improve digestion and support your liver, which helps your body better absorb leucine from other sources like chicken, fish, or eggs. That's the power of smart combination. You give your body the mortar and the bricks together, and suddenly your construction site is back in business. Now for another crucial piece of the puzzle: timing. When should you eat these proteins to get the best results? Most people think muscles grow while you're working out. But the truth is, muscles are built during rest, especially during deep sleep. That's when your growth hormone levels peak and your body is in full repair mode. But here's the kicker: you need to give your body the right fuel at the right time to make this process work. And sadly, most people sabotage this without even knowing it. Let me explain. A lot of folks either eat their largest meal early in the day, skip dinner entirely, or grab a late-night snack loaded with carbs. That creates 2 big problems: lack of amino acids during the night, when your body is trying to rebuild, a spike in insulin from those late carbs, which blocks growth hormone, and fat burning. Not ideal, right? So what's the fix? Think of your body like a job site. Daytime is noisy, phones ringing, deliveries coming in, distractions everywhere. But at night, it's peaceful. The perfect time for skilled workers to do their best focused work. But what happens if you don't send them materials? Exactly nothing gets done. Another wasted night. That's why studies show that consuming a slow digesting, glycine-rich protein like bone broth before bed can support better metabolic health and nighttime muscle synthesis. It gives your body's night crew a steady supply of building material while you sleep. Now, let's bring it all together with a daily routine, something simple and actionable that you can start doing. Immediately to fight back against the silent erosion. Your daily rebuild plan. Morning, 7 o'clock to 9 a.m. Wake, hydrate, move. Get 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight exposure to reset your circadian rhythm and lower morning cortisol. Drink a glass of water with a pinch of sea salt and a slice of lemon. Add 1 tsp of apple cider vinegar before meals to support digestion. Do light movement, a 10-minute walk, or gentle, dynamic stretches to wake up your muscles. Midday, 12 o'clock. 2 p.m., prime meal plus activation. Eat 20 to 30 grams of whole food protein, such as wild salmon or pasture-raised chicken. Pair with low-carb veggies like broccoli, spinach, or kale and healthy fats like olive oil or avocado. Think of this as loading your bricks for the day. Follow this with 15 to 30 minutes of resistance exercise, body weight squats, push-ups. Resistance band rows, light dumbbell exercises focus on slow, controlled movements to send a strong muscle-building signal. Evening, dinner and recovery, around 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. Eat a moderate, clean protein meal with steamed veggies. Avoid processed carbs or sugar close to bedtime. 1 to 2 hours before sleep. Mix 1 scoop of grass-fed bone broth protein powder into warm water. Add a dash of cinnamon for taste and extra benefits. No powder, a cup of homemade bone broth works just fine. This is your nightly mortar fuel for overnight repair. Before bed, 9 o'clock to 10:30 p.m. Deep sleep prep. Turn off screens and avoid blue light to encourage melatonin release. Practice 5 minutes of light stretching or deep breathing. Aim to be in bed by 10:30 p.m. to maximize deep sleep and growth. Hormone release. That's it. Just a few small changes can set off a chain reaction in your health. Give your body the signal, the materials, and the timing, and you'll start to see results in as little as 2 to 3 weeks. Coming up in the final part, a recap of everything, the science-backed reasons why this approach works, and a motivational challenge to help you take the first step today. Let's do a quick recap of what we've covered so far, and then we'll talk about how to take the first powerful step starting tonight. We began with a startling idea. A simple morning task like getting out of bed can turn into a major struggle. If you lose muscle strength, especially in your legs, and behind this muscle loss isn't just aging. It's a silent, internal erosion caused by a trio of biological saboteurs: sluggish digestion, hormonal imbalance, and an overloaded liver. We learned that even high-protein diets won't help if your body can't break down and absorb those proteins. And that's why so many people, especially over 50, feel weaker despite eating what they believe is healthy. We then introduced the mortar of life, bone broth protein powder made from grass-fed beef bones. Not only does it contain 15 to 20 grams of collagen-rich protein per scoop, but it's also pre-digested, hydrolyzed, so it's easy to absorb, gentle on insulin, avoiding blood sugar spikes, rich in glycine, which supports liver detox and reduces inflammation. Together, these properties make it a triple threat against the 3 major roadblocks to rebuilding muscle. But that's not all. We also uncovered the role of leucine, the amino acid that activates muscle growth. It flips the body's internal muscle-building switch called mTOR and tells it, hey, let's grow. The issue? Aging bodies develop anabolic resistance, meaning you need more leucine than younger people to get the same muscle-building effect. That's why it's not enough to eat random amounts of protein throughout the day. You need to hit your leucine threshold at every major meal, 2.5 to 3 grams per meal. Combine it with a protein like bone broth that enhances absorption. Time it strategically, especially before bed. When your body is in repair mode, it's that nighttime window that most people miss. But that's where the transformation really happens. So if your goal is to regain strength, sleep deeper, and wake up feeling energized, there's no better time to fuel your repair system than 90 minutes before you go to bed. Now, let's bring this home with a real-world challenge. Your next step: The 3-day Mortar of Life Kickstart Challenge. This is your opportunity to test drive everything we've talked about with one simple habit that could change how you feel in just a few days. Here's what to do for the next 3 nights. About 90 minutes before bed, do the following. Mix 1 scoop of high-quality grass-fed bone broth protein powder into warm water. Add a pinch of cinnamon or turmeric for flavor and extra benefits. No powder? 1 cup of homemade bone broth will do the job. Do 5 to 10 minutes of light stretching or deep breathing to signal relaxation. Turn off screens and get to bed by 10:30 p.m. Then, just let your body do what it's designed to do. Rebuild, repair, and renew. What to expect after 3 days. Here's what many people report after just a few nights of doing this. Deeper, more restful sleep, less stiffness in the morning, more energy during the day, subtle increase in strength or endurance, especially if paired with light movement. And no, you don't have to be perfect. Just be consistent. Because true transformation comes not from one massive change, but from tiny, powerful shifts done daily. Let's remember the science here. That's what makes this strategy more than just a trendy tip. Bone broth is predigested, so it bypasses age-related digestive issues. It doesn't spike insulin, keeping growth hormone active overnight. It supports liver detox, which boosts your entire metabolism, and when combined with a leucine-rich lunch or dinner, it helps you hit your mTOR threshold and turn on muscle protein synthesis. Isn't about lifting heavy weights or chugging protein shakes all day. It's about working with your body's rhythm, fueling it at the right time, with the right nutrients, in the right form. That's the difference between feeling like you're slowly declining and feeling like you're coming back to life. Final thoughts now. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. You are not too old. You are not too far gone. And you are not stuck. Yes, the erosion is real, but so is your body's ability to rebuild itself. All it needs is a little help and a little consistency. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to buy a cabinet full of supplements. You don't even need a gym membership. What you do need is knowledge, understanding what's really happening inside. Your body timing, knowing when to give your body the materials. It needs consistency, showing up for yourself every day, even in small ways. This channel is here to help you do that. Every single video is crafted to empower you with practical strategies that respect your body's natural rhythm and abilities. So if this video helped you, if it gave you a new way of seeing things, a technique you can try, or just the encouragement to start again, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'd love to hear your story. Let's keep building this community, one person, one habit, and 1 cup of bone broth at a time. So are you ready? Tonight, warm up that bone broth. Sip it slowly. Let your body rebuild while you sleep. And tomorrow, wake up ready to rise, strong legs and all. This is how the fight against silent erosion begins, and this is how you win. See you in the next video. Stay strong, stay consistent, and as always, you've got this.